advise.
NOLA.com, Strange and Eerie Forums, February 5th, 2018. Mulder vs. Scully. Hey guys, Mulder here. Anyone have a clue what these Hoyrod tags mean that keep showing up in New Orleans East? Just wondering. Human power.
Sorry, dude. No clue.
Pedicab Pete. I haven't noticed, but I really don't spend a lot of time in the East. Could be gang, maybe?
Mulder vs. Scully. I thought that too, but the tag is all the way out in that weird overpass on I-10. You know, the one that doesn't go anywhere? It's painted there about 24 times.
Demonatrix.
I have to go out to Slidell tomorrow. I'll look for it when I go past the overpass. Which one is it? There are two of them.
Mulder vs. Scully. The second one if you're coming into the city. The first one if you're going out, I guess. Email from Demonatrix to Mulder vs. Scully.
February 6th, 2018.
Dear Mulder, I went out to Slidell to visit my grandparents today. Real exciting stuff, right? They made me take them over to the Slidell Factory Outlet Mall. That place is still in business somehow. They have a Hudson's treasure hunt there, though. Anyway, I looked for your graffiti as promised. Hoyrod was all over that bridge. My brother works for the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office. I called him and asked if there were any known gangs in their database that used such a tag. He told me he'd never heard of it. It's probably just some bored kids or something. Take it sleazy. Gina.
Email from Mulder vs. Scully to Demonatrix.
February 6th, 2018.
Dear Gina, thanks for checking it out for me. I want to go out and get some pictures of it before the city paints it over. I think it'll go good in my book. Remember, you promised to buy the first copy. Always sleazy. For you, Mulder. From Langiape magazine. Outlaw photography, a blooming business. Today we are proud to sponsor local New Orleans outlaw photographer and all-around super talent behind a lens, a man who actually needs quite a bit of introduction but will probably never grant it. The mystery on your coffee table who will boggle your mind and win your heart. No one knows the real identity of this New Orleans native who first came to fame with his or her high-risk photos taken from the top of the long-neglected and very much out-of-service roller coaster at the abandoned Six Flags theme park in New Orleans East. These days, there are pictures all over the internet taken from cell phones and cameras from the top of the Mega Zephyr. But as with any great art form, someone had to do it first. That person was kind enough to allow us to contact and interview, through email of course, sticking with the pseudonym that we all know and love.
Langiape.
So, why Mulder vs. Scully? Are you an X-Files fan?
MVS.
Somewhat. It started as just an email address and occasional AOL screen name, but when I started posting some of my earlier photos, I used that name. Maybe I should have picked a better internet handle, who knows. It's what everyone knows me as now, so I guess we're stuck.
Langiape.
You became famous for trespassing and taking pictures, is that a fair assessment?
MVS.
As fair as it's going to get, I suppose.
Langiape.
Your picture from atop the Zephyr essentially brought you into the spotlight. Can you tell us about some of your other works?
MVS.
Of course. I recently found a way into the underground tunnels that run beneath downtown New Orleans. Those were some amazing pictures down there, like our own little catacombs. I also discovered the secret bridge in City Park, the one that goes over to Goldfish Island. What I am most proud of, though, is getting into the ruins of Sheriff Fode's haunted house attraction. Hard to believe that they just left it all standing. Look for some really cool shots of leftover props and such.
Langiape.
We understand that you have a new coffee table book coming out this year. Can you clue us in on what your next big angle is going to be?
MVS.
The base theme is going to be mysteries. All those weird little things in our city that we've seen since we were kids, but we never really knew the stories behind will be the chief concept. Everything from that strange little castle house in the Irish Bayou, the two overpasses on the I-10 that don't lead to anything, the gutter punk subculture in the French Quarter, and anything else that we've always wanted to know more about. I'm going to explain as much as I can through photos, Right now, I'm especially interested in exploring the roots of some of the graffiti that pops up in the more rural sections of the city.
Linkiape.
Any chances of a face reveal this time?
MVS.
Maybe. If I get to 5 million followers on Instagram. Maybe.
Email from Mulder vs. Scully to Demonatrix, February 9th, 2018.
Hey Gina. I'm heading out there today to get some pictures and explore around a bit. Wish me luck. Mulder.
NOLA.com, Strange and Eerie Forums, February 10th, 2018. Mulder vs. Scully.
Hey guys. So I drove out there to that overpass in the east today. I parked my car on the shoulder and got some great pictures of the hoy rod tags all over the bridge. It was so bizarre. The tag was covering almost every piece of concrete and steel available. I even found it underneath the overpass on the underside of the bridge. From where it was painted, it would almost seem like someone would have to have set up a ladder to reach it. Anyway, it gets better. I decided to take a hike down the exit ramp. Believe it or not, I've never actually explored back there despite the million or so times I must have driven past it. The street was in bad shape. I doubt it could have been driven on without some serious off-roading capabilities, and sadly my little Volvo isn't built for such. Even though the sun was out and everything was bright and cheery, I had the worst sensation of, well, being watched. I know that sounds cliche and all, but honestly it was what I felt back there. I probably just let the whole strange tag thing get into my head a little, but seriously, I honestly felt creeped out the entire time I was back there. Keep in mind, this is coming from a guy who specializes in getting pictures in places where I'm not supposed to be. I did get some good pictures while I was back there though, to go along with the Hoy Rod Bridge images. I'll share a few on here later.
Email from Demonatrix to Mulder vs. Scully, February 10th, 2018.
Yo, Mulder. I read your post on NOLA. I'd love to see some of those pictures that you got. If you weren't into this anonymous shtick, I'd totally go out there with you to protect you from the big bad ghosties that were bothering you. Keep me in the loop, bro. Sleazily yours, Gina.
Email from Mulder vs. Scully to Demonatrix, February 10th, 2018.
Gina, my muse. Maybe one day you'll be the face in which I reveal my face. Anyway, I decided to go back out there at night. I wanted to get some shots of the area that set a better mood, and honestly the bridge and sunny day setting doesn't exactly convey what I want. I've attached a couple of the pictures from my first trip out there though. More to come. Yours in sleaze, Mulder.
Email from Demonatrix to Mulder vs. Scully, February 10th, 2018.
Hey, Mulder. No joke here. Did you notice that person in black in the woods in the third pic you sent me? It was taken, I guess, from the exit ramp once you were out of the woods. I noticed it almost right away, so I know you must have seen it. It looks almost like a Halloween witch. That's the best way I can describe it. The body shape looks vaguely feminine, just going off of the waist and hips, and it's wearing all black. I've gone ahead and zoomed in and cropped it, just that portion. I'm sure you have better editing software than I do, but it's worth checking out. Unless this is all part of your art, in which case, fuck you. Just kidding, but still, really creepy. If this wasn't on purpose, I'd suggest checking it out. Someone might be stalking you. No sleaze. Too creeped out. Gina.
NOLA.com, Strange and Eerie Forums, February 11th, 2018. Mulder vs. Scully.
There's nothing out there.
Human Power.
What do you mean? Like, nothing worth photographing?
Tom Thumb 009.
I think he logged out.
B. Bumbler 18. Mulder? Hello? Human Power.
Just an artist acting artsy. He's probably just building suspense.
Pedicab Pete. Still, it's not like him just pop in and out. Vague isn't his style. Demonatrix.
I'll email him. There was something odd in some of the pictures that he sent me. I reached out to him earlier, but he hasn't written me back yet. Also out of character for him.
Tom Thumb 009.
So it is a he. One mystery solved.
Demonatrix.
Actually, I don't know. As long as we've been chatting privately, Mulder has never given me much info about his, or her, personal life.
B Bumbler 18. Well shit, girl, you're supposed to be our mole. LOL. Demonatrix.
Oh wait, I just got an email from Mulder. Let me do my mole duties.
Email from Mulder vs. Scully to Demonatrix.
February 11th, 2018.
There is nothing out there. There is nothing anywhere. There is nothing. 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 Hoyrod. Email from Demonatrix to Mulder vs. Scully.
February 11th, 2018.
Okay, I'm guessing this is part of the act? I see you attached the night pictures to that last message you sent me. I like the creep factor, but come on, Mulder. You don't have to treat me like one of your fans. I would like to know how you altered the dates on the email timestamp, though. That's some next level shit. Very eerie. For real, though, please just let me know you're okay. I'm not trying to get all mushy here, but your last few posts on NOLA and that email you sent me, weird date and all, just don't seem like the usual you. Do me this favor, and I promise I'll go back to regarding you with the typical apathetic nature of a fellow citizen of the internet. Gina.
NOLA.com. Strange and Eerie Forums.
February 12th, 2018. Demonatrix.
Has anyone else heard from Mulder lately? He sent me an email right after his weird little post last night. It was strange. He sent more pictures and they are really freaking me out. I'm not sure if this is some elaborate marketing thing he's doing or not though, so I'm not going to share any of the pictures on here without his permission. But still, I'm a bit worried. Anyone know anything?
Human power.
Not a thing, Demon.
Pedicab Pete.
You're asking us? You're his favorite, LOL. But for real, if you hear from him, let us know.
B Bumbler 18. What was so strange about these latest pictures? Can you give us some information at least? Demonatrix.
I'll say this much. The pics that he sent me were of places that shouldn't even be there. I don't know, maybe he found something out there that I never knew about, but still, it's all very strange. My uncle and his pals used to hunt out there a lot, and they told me they've never seen anything out there like what Mulder photographed. Hopefully he comes out of hiding and clears this up.
Human power.
Okay, now you're just being evil. What did he send you?
Demonatrix.
Give it a few more days. I don't want to ruin his project if it turns out that this is what it is. He trusts me, and I'd hate to betray that. I have my fingers crossed that he pops back up and announces that this was all some weird little campaign to get attention for his next book. I won't keep you guys in the dark much longer, though. I promise.
Email from Demonatrix to Professor Rose Loggins. .lsu.
February 14th, 2018.
Dear Professor Loggins, I hope you remember me. And don't hold this silly email handle against me, but this is Gina DeLuna from your Louisiana history class from 2012. I can't go into too much detail here, but I'm sort of friends with a local photographer who is well known as Mulder vs. Scully. Not sure if you're familiar with him, her, or not, but he specializes in what's called outlaw photography. Anyway, we've been corresponding for a long time now, and recently he went out to photograph some graffiti on one of the abandoned overpasses in New Orleans East. Something about the tag really fascinated him, I think. Either way, right after his trip out there, he started acting strange. The pictures he sent me are really unusual as well. Some of the locations just don't seem as though they should be there off of the interstate. I don't want to post any of them publicly since this could still be part of his exhibit, but I'd really appreciate it if you could look at them and tell me anything at all that I might not know. Thanks a million. Go Tigers! Gina DeLuna, LSU Alumni Class of 2014.
Email from roselogins.lsu to Demonatrix, February 15th, 2018.
Dear Gina, it's always great to hear from one of my past students. I hope you're putting that degree of yours to work. Anyway, I looked at the picture you sent me, and yes, I do have some information for you. I'll go line by line here, and of course, add some history of the abandoned overpasses as well. Since you expressed that you wish to keep this off the radar, I'll respect that and will not share anything contained in our communications. Just be aware that if your friend is in some sort of trouble, it is your ethical duty to report it to the authorities. You may lose a friend, but you might also save a life. Enough soapboxing, though. Let's dig into these photos. First of all, your friend is some sort of genius if this is all a work. The timestamps on all of the pictures contained within the details are set to 1971. That is the year that those overpasses were built, with the idea being, at the time, that the oil market in New Orleans would last forever. Sadly, we all know that didn't happen. The goal of the project was to develop massive subdivisions back there. The entire area was going to be known as Orlandia. However, when the oil industry dried up, the city no longer had the money to keep going, so the overpasses became nothing more than giant loops that led to nothing. Now that history class is over, let's talk geography. The locations in the pictures did exist. At least, they did back in the 70s. I'll label the pictures as he did for ease of access. 1. World of Dead Rocks. The first picture that he sent you shows a small grove off of the exit ramp. In it can be seen a formation of strange, tall rocks. Some of them appear to go up to at least 20 feet high. The history of the rocks is not 100% clear, as they do not form naturally in Louisiana, nor are they a part of any landscape in this state. They were discovered in the 70s when the first crews went out there to survey the land. For a short time they were known as the Cajun Stonehenge, and a few people offered to buy them when the city decided it was best to just clear them out to make way for the exit ramp. Where they came from or who put them there will likely forever be a mystery. Although I can still remember my older brother telling me ghost stories about the rocks. He said that they were built by a coven of devil worshippers to summon demons. That's a sibling for you, though. 2. Crazy Waters. The second picture shows a small bayou that extends almost to the road. I believe what you're looking at here is a portion of Bayou Sauvage. To make way for the ramp, this area was drained. A bit of creepy history, though. Several bodies were found down there when that particular section was cleaned out. I think the city kept the discoveries as quiet as possible, so as not to disrupt the very expensive project that they were undertaking. This body of water, like the rocks, has been gone since the 70s. 3. House of Rod. This one is actually a bit of a mystery to me. Your friend appears to have captured the image of a small church out there. There were people living out there at the time, but most of them lived in little swamp shacks lined up along the bayou. They'd use small rowboats and the like to get to the road when they needed to come into the city. While it is possible that this community constructed a small church for Sunday worship so they could avoid having to trek into the city, I certainly cannot find any records. The building in the picture would far more likely have been a hunter's shack used for hanging carcasses. However, the design of the structure, along with what I can see are stained glass windows, doesn't really support my theory now, does it? As far as the reference to House of Rod, I once again have nothing to really go on. With your permission, I'd like to forward the image of the church to one of my colleagues in our theology department. Perhaps this Rod is some long-lost religious sect out there. Well, Gina, that is the best I can do at the moment. I hope you're able to get in contact with your friend soon. As far as the pictures themselves, they must be the product of some very talented photo alterations. My guess is that this photographer got a hold of some very rare, very old images before the overpasses were built and applied a bit of computer voodoo to make them appear to exist in the present along the exit ramp. I can assure you, though, that never in life did the exit ramp and any of those structures exist at the same time. Best of luck, Professor Loggins.
Email from Mulder vs. Scully to Demonatrix, February 16th, 1971.
Hoy Rod, Hoy Rod, Hoy Rod, Hoy Rod.
Image attached.
Email from Demonatrix to Mulder vs. Scully,
February 16th, 2018.
Mulder, I'm not sure if this is all part of your project or not, but enough is enough. I thought that we were friends, or at least something more than just fan and artist. Either way, the last picture that you sent me was very inappropriate and disturbing. Perhaps I thought that I was deeper into this form of art than I really am, or maybe I was just taken by the fact that a photographer that I really respected was taking the time to talk to me as a person. Either way, I want off of this ride. I'm worried about you because you don't give me any straight answers, and you keep sending me these weird photos. The last one, though, it's just more than I signed on for. I'd still love to support your work and correspond with you, but if this is just a stunt to promote your work or something, I have to tell you, I find it pretty shitty that you treat me like some blind audience member. Unless you're willing to drop this act and tell me what is really going on, then I must ask that you stop emailing me. Gina.
NOLA.com, Strange and Eerie Forums, February 17th, 2018. Mulder vs. Scully. Images uploaded. Human power.
Dude, amazing stuff. Are you sure you want to post it on here, though? Someone might steal it.
Pedicab Pete. If this is what he's giving away for free, then I bet the actual book is going to be amazing. Rod.
He sleeps no more.
Human power.
Hello, Rod. New to the forums? Are you a fan of Mulder?
B. Bumbler 18.
Creepy.
Pedicab Pete. All partly act, I bet. Mulder vs. Scully.
They have no eyes here, yet they see it all. Hoy Rod.
NOLA staff.
The images recently posted by user Mulder vs. Scully violate our content policy regarding depictions of extreme violence. The pictures will be removed and you will receive a warning. Please review our content policy before posting images in the future.
Email from john.landis.lsu to Demonatrix, February 17th, 2018.
Dear Gina, I hope you forgive Professor Loggins and myself here, but she went ahead and showed me some of the images that you sent her regarding your friend's adventures in photography. I happen to have a bit of information on the topic, though, especially in regards to the reference to Rod. I certainly hope this doesn't overstep any trust, and I assure you that I will not share any of this information publicly, although I must say it would make one fascinating article, or perhaps a horror movie. The cult of Rod existed in the bayou area outside of New Orleans for quite a while before the interstate was put in. Keep in mind that during much of the early 20th century, the only way to access North Shore, Slidell side, from New Orleans was by way of the Highway 11 bridge, over Lake Pontchartrain. However, during the 60s, when the East became a big oil beacon and the I-10 was constructed to include the twin span that connects New Orleans and the Irish Bayou area to Slidell, not too much is known about the Rod cult, other than the fact that they were very territorial and very secretive. Hunters knew to avoid their stomping grounds, and occasionally a strange altar or other weird artifacts would be discovered. People didn't disturb their religious icons, though. When the two abandoned overpasses were constructed, though, road crews were giving strict instructions to dismantle any obstructions. The dead stones and Church of Rod that your friend photographed were indeed discovered and removed during this time. For this act of sacrilege there were repercussions, at least according to local lore. During the construction project, vehicles were said to suddenly catch on fire. There was one story that claimed a man's chainsaw burst into flames as he was cutting down a tree. The dead stones themselves claimed at least 4 lives, as one crushed a worker as they were attempting to move them. A vehicle hauling the stones allegedly fell off the high-rise bridge in Gentilly, killing the driver. Even after the project was completed, the foreman of the road crew suffered a major heart attack. An urban legend or sort circulated for a short time that the cult of fraud cursed the entire city. Curses or not, the group vanished shortly after the construction of the overpasses was complete. Until now anyways, no one has mentioned that odd little footnote from New Orleans' esoteric past. In all truth, I wouldn't worry too much about this. I looked into your friend's portfolio, and all of his behavior seems to follow what appears to be his standard of strange and provocative imagery. My guess would be that this is one big marketing blitz on his part to pull his potential audience into the book. He very well may have painted those Hoyrod markings on the overpass himself just to create the buzz. If I can be of any further assistance, please feel free to reach out. Best of luck. Sincerely, Professor John Landis, Department of Theology, Louisiana State University.
Email from Mulder vs. Scully to Demonatrix. Google unable to timestamp. Help me. Rod is awake. Video attached. Email from Demonatrix to Mulder vs. Scully. February 18th, 2018.
I'm going to the police. You can hate me if you want, Mulder, but this is scaring me. Gina.
From Times-Picayune Early Edition. Local photographer missing after sharing terrifying video with friend. February 19th, 2018. In a story that is still being investigated by New Orleans Police Department, local outlaw photographer William Darso, known around the internet and bookstores as Mulder vs. Scully, is missing and presumed in great danger. Darso, whose identity has been a long-held secret, was uncovered during the viewing of a video that he shared with a friend. His email records also reveal his true identity. The authorities became aware of his situation after a friend of Darso, Gina DeLuna of New Orleans, alerted the police that she believed her friend was in danger. According to DeLuna, Darso had been investigating graffiti on the overpass located on the I-10 between New Orleans East and Slidell. She stated that the project began as most of Darso's had in the past, but quickly took a turn for the unsettling when he stopped communicating with her as they normally did, but rather began to share disturbing photographs believed to be taken in the area of the overpass. According to DeLuna, 2 images drove her to finally report the activity to police. The first alarming photograph shows what appears to be several women dressed in what could be called traditional Halloween witch costumes conducting some sort of ritual around a stone altar. The women were wearing all black and even sported the long pointed hats often associated with the witch theme. The second image shows several of these witches surrounding the photographer. From the perspective of the photograph, it appears that Darso was on the ground looking up. The image is particularly unnerving as it appears these women do not have faces, and the pointed hats actually seem to form from their heads as opposed to being worn. DeLuna confirmed that she was hesitant to report this matter at first, as she believed this could be a marketing attempt, as Darso was intending to publish a new book of photography in the near future. However, a video that he sent to her email account less than 24 hours ago finally convinced her to step forward. The video, which has been deemed too disturbing and graphic to be posted on our streaming webpage, came with the caption, "Help me." According to those that have viewed the video though, both DeLuna and the officers investigating the matter, it appears to show Darso being held down on the same stone altar from previous photos while he was being mutilated. The phrase "Holy Rod" can be heard in the background of the video, apparently being chanted by those in attendance. DeLuna and others have stated that they are still holding out hope that this is one very elaborate commercial for Darso's book and he will emerge unharmed. We will continue to cover this story and report any new developments. From Langiape magazine, June 2nd, 2018.
In a few days, the final published works of New Orleans photographer William Darso will be released to bookstores nationwide. For those of you not following local news this year, Darso was found dead near the I-10 overpasses in New Orleans East several months ago. The identities of those responsible for his death remain a mystery, and no other leads have developed since the horrific and heartbreaking murder of this young and talented artist. In March of this year, a package arrived at the publishing house which Darso was contracted. It contained a stack of photographs, some from his final investigation into the Hoyrod graffiti, and instructions to posthumously publish what would be his final book. A national release is scheduled for June 7th.
From multiple news sources. June 7th, 2018. New Orleans.
11 people are dead today after a strange and unexplainable illness at the Metairie bookstore saw people begin to convulse and...
Tampa, Florida. At a highly anticipated book release today, a mysterious illness claimed the lives of at least 18 attendees. Austin, Texas.
A downtown bookstore burst into flames today during a highly anticipated...
Atlanta, Georgia.
No survivors as the bookstore roof collapses during the release of...
Santa Monica, California.
16 dead as massive sinkhole appears at bookstore.
Providence, Rhode Island.
Flames continue to pour from the windows of a small bookseller despite the efforts of firefighters, and at least a dozen people are believed to be inside.